Would you say that he was a better mayor than a politician? How would you rate him, just in your own experience, as a mayor and as a politician? I mean, separately, if you can.
I don't know how you can. I mean, I think that they're almost, being that he was chairman of the Cook County Central Committee. I mean, everything, you know, as they say, good politics is good government. Good government is good politics. He was the ultimate politician, but he was also a great mayor. I mean, he just felt that if he did the right things, you would get reelected. Same way with his son. Look at his son. He's Rich Daley's not the most avid politician. I mean, but he did do political things by knowing that you have to take care of every neighborhood in the city, white, black, or Hispanic. You know, a lot of people felt when he came into office, the black community would get ignored. Just the opposite. Just the opposite. He made sure that, you know, every dollar it was spent, it would be spent equally. And that's, you call that politics or being a good mayor?
Right. But he didn't use a political organization, Richard M.
No. No, everybody keeps saying the machine. What machine in Chicago today? I see, I live in Springfield now, and they keep referring to the Chicago machine. What machine is there today? I don't know of any. I mean, I honestly don't. You know, can he deliver the 11th Ward? Sure. Can Mike Madigan deliver maybe the majority of the 13th? Hines the 19th? Mel? But beyond that, what is there? I mean, really, there really is no organization like there used to be. You know, today, a lot of it's TV. It really is. I mean, when you see other cities or you see the state of Illinois, the mayor of the city of Chicago is available almost every day for the media. The state of Illinois, if you once a month with the governor maybe, except now at election time. Right. I mean, other politicians are not available like they are. And Chicagoans, I think, appreciate not necessarily using the King's English, but they, you know, both Mayor Daley and his son, they just speak right from the heart. And sometimes they fall over their words, but their intent is really, you know, is...
You know, you're one of the very few that work for both mayors, because the son did not normally do that. As a matter of fact, he made a point not to do it. You are an exception. Why would that be?
I honestly don't know. I mean, except, and I don't like to, you know, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I think I built up a reputation of being pretty straightforward and honest. I've never had a, you know, there's never really been a story on me. There's never been, you know, as I said, we did the $650 million project, never a story. I think everybody knows I play it straight. There's been many cases dealing with Edgar and Ryan and Blagojevich and Quinn, where they always call me in, just to, you know, to get the city's side of it, because I know I always give them a straight answer, even if it will hurt the city. I've never, right now I'm on the state procurement board, which I'm Mike Madigan's appointee. It's a non-paying job, but I have a lot of fun with it. We okay or disapprove state leases, and I've had a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun under Governor Blagojevich, but But I mean, but that's, I think, the reputation I have is that, and I'm always telling the mayor what I think is the right or the truth or whatever you want to say. And a lot of department heads, they made that mistake with Richard M. Daley. They wouldn't go in there and tell him the bad side of something. I would go in there and say, this, I think, is terrible. I said, it's going to affect your ratings. It's going to affect, you know. I'll just give you a real quick story of Richard M. It's funny, but it just shows you, he's just like his father. They take notes when they drive around. Well, he was coming to work one day. This was Tim Degnan and I, when Tim Degnan was
Chief of Staff?
No, he was his political, you know, the intergovernmental.
Intergovernmental.
Yeah. So he came to work and called us in, called Tim and I in, and he started in on us. I want you to get the police over there. I want you to write these tickets. We said, why? Well, this trucking concern has all their trucks have graffiti on them. So we said, wait a minute. Let's get this, see if we got this right. You're coming to work and you see this man, his trucks were vandalized last night. You want us to call the police to give this man tickets because his trucks were vandalized. And he sat back in a big grin and he went on to a different subject. But I mean, that's Rich Daley. You know, sure, did we call the trucking company and said, you know, you ought to really clean those up, which they did. But that's him. And that's where we got into some of the people that in recent years, they only, well, I won't say anymore.
Well,
they tell him what he wants to hear.
They tell him what he wants to hear. I see, rather than what he needs to hear. One of the people that we interviewed said that Richard J. Daley could be ruthless when he had to be, but he also said that, however, the caveat was that he would have all the facts before he would make a hard move on someone. And I'm curious if that was your experience, not personally, but what you observed.
Yeah, I believe, yes, he would have all the facts, and you would know it by actions that you were out. I mean, just by the body language, by everything. I mean, it was a clear. I don't remember ever being in. I've heard about it. Well, sure. I mean, there are some people that crossed the line, that did things that they shouldn't have done, and he would take the necessary steps. I mean, that's when you're running an organization the size of the city of Chicago, you know, 40,000 employees, plus your Cook County Democratic chairmanship and everything. There's always people that fall off.
That happens, yes. I want some of the hard questions on Daley deal with his race relations. And there's one individual said that 63 was a difficult time for him when he ran against Adamowski, and he won because of the black vote, but the whole election, he lost most of the white vote, and it was all over open housing and race-related issues, and it made it more difficult for him from that point on in race. But I'm curious about his personal opinions and his professional opinions in that area?
Well, I never, in dealing with the budget, there was never an occasion when we wouldn't do something if it was for the black community or any other community. His son learned well from him about how to share, where there are some problems with race relations, sure. I'm sure when, I know for a fact that, like when Jesse Jackson would come in and, the mayor was never that pleased with Jesse. Mainly, I guess, because I don't know if he thought he was totally sincere or not, But I mean, as far as, Head Start and all that, those programs, your senior citizen programs, it was mainly for black people, the Head Start. It was he fought with, LBJ and everybody to get more money for Chicago. And we had, what was his name, Denton Brooks.
Yes.
And who, I can't think of his name. But anyway, he made sure that he had a deputy chief of staff was in his office, and I'm searching for his name. But anyway, like somebody had said, I believe it was the U of I, they were saying, well, he built the Dan Ryan Expressway just to keep the blacks on, east of the Dan Ryan.
Yeah.
I mean, well, then what did he do when they planned the Kennedy Expressway? I mean, you have to build it. I mean, I never experienced any anti-black feeling at all. I really didn't. I mean, from Mayor Daley, never. Either Mayor Daley.
But it was Bridgeport, where you came from, which wasn't exactly the most welcoming community if you were a minority.
That is true. That is true.
So how does that, if you can explain that contradiction, what appears to be a contradiction.
I got to word this carefully. The people of Bridgeport, and I believe the mayor, felt that some of these people were in it for showtime. Dick Gregory, for example, marching in the neighborhood. People, it's Bridgeport, people sit out.
Yes.
And, well, he would chant and stick signs. And so, sure, and I looked at it as showtime. Were we out there to protect? Yes. The 11th Ward reacted, the political 11th Ward reacted by having people like myself and everybody else. We would go and stand in front of taverns and stand in front of where there would be a group of white guys. And we'd say, hey guys, calm down.
I see. All right.
There was a concerted effort by the 11th Ward organization to have 100 and some people out there every night that he marched.
So that things wouldn't happen.
Right.
All right, I'd like to put it on hold right now, and